Today, we welcome Emma Galland to Squats and Seances, the founder of Tantric Awakenings. Emma is a French American tantric sex, love, and relationship coach, helping men worldwide cultivate confidence, vitality, and mastery in their sexuality and in life. With 30 years of experience in holistic health, fitness, and tantra, she developed the Virati method, an integrative method for virility, vitality, and peak performance to help men achieve deep transformation. Emma emphasizes that sexuality isn't a side activity, but a core aspect of human potential. She teaches that sexual energy is a life force capable of creating love, financial success, and even healing past traumas. Determined to bring sexuality out of the shadows, she leads bold initiatives like nude yoga, classes, and sacred sexuality events for couples at New York's New Society for Wellness. And in 2025, she launched the Tantric Awakenings app. She was recently spotlighted as one of the top 20 influential female entrepreneurs to watch out for in 2025 by New York Weekly magazine for her Tantric Awakenings work with men and couples. Welcome, Emma.
Thank you very much, Vanessa, for having me.
Yes, forgive my butchering of the name of your method. I did some research. I'm pretty sure it's Virati, but I do not speak French. So would you like to
Uh,
say it for us? How do you pronounce
yeah,
it?
so it's kind of a made-up name, actually.
Okay.
Virtilité. If I
Oh,
was making it in English, it would be a virtility. So it's a mix of fertility and vitality.
oh, I
So
love it. And when you say it, it
thank you.
sounds so beautiful. Not like when I say it. Okay. Well, before we begin the conversation in earnest, a couple of things. I have a wide listening base of parents, and so this may not be the episode to listen to with your young children. Although I really, really encourage you to come back and listen to it on your own whenever you have time. I think it's going to be very insightful. So that's the first PSA. And then the second part is actually for you, Emma. Every time I have a new guest on the podcast, I open by asking the same root question because it means the answers are so varied. People from all different walks of life have different perspectives of this. But what does the word gritty mean to you?
Gritty,
Mhm.
as in grit.
As in grit.
What comes up in my body, it's resilience, survival,
Mm.
overcoming, fire. Feels
Oh, I
like it's
love
something
that.
in my gut, all the warmth and fire rising in my solar plexus, feeling the back of my shoulders actually warm up, and I get a tingling between my shoulder blades hearing this word.
Perfect. Because to give context, as you probably know, the Squats and Seances podcast is about exploring the intersections of mind, body, and spirit, connection
Mhm.
between our physiology and our psychology and our spirituality. And always the body is that transport mechanism between all three of those things. Would love to give our listeners some of your backstory. How did you wind up here today? What started you on this path for your own self actualization and eventually
Mhm.
creating what you've created now, which is a movement in addition to an app and a company?
As you said, our journeys professionally generally mirror or are the continuation of our personal stories. So I started in the field of fitness and nutrition because I wanted to take better care of my health. I've had a few things happen over the years, and they always led me back to school and learning and changing and growing. But when it comes to serving men and sacred sexuality and couples, it came from a personal story of buying into what being an adult was, and what being a sexual woman was, and what being a wife was, and what being in a relationship was, and buying into the kind of like the standard of a container of a relationship in the Western world, which didn't align with who I really was. And when I divorced my best friend, so we're best friend, we're already best friend, we love each other, but the container of marriage is not the right container. And there was no solution. It's like you're married or you're divorced and you don't speak to each other anymore.
Right.
That
That
kind of
is a
stuff
very
where,
Western culture approach. Yes.
yeah, so I'm different. This is what I want. I said, I know you, and that's not who I am. So how do we still continue growing together, but not as husband and wife? And so through the pain of heartbreak, I continued my journey of self-exploration and also healing and reconciling who I really was, which wasn't what the norm typically is. And I had a lot of shame. I carried a lot of shame around my body and my sexuality as a result of not really being in the mold. And I realized through my work that really no one is in the mold. It's very rare that you're in any mold. But there
Yes.
isn't a pathway and there's no forum for conversation. But through that breaking of my marriage, I met after somebody who really accepted me exactly as I was, and a man who really was so grounded in his own sexuality, had done the work, and was able to hold me exactly as I was without judgment. And through experiencing sex with this person, I actually really truly found my own healing of my heartbreak, finding really peace with who I was, and really noticing when a man truly is integrated in his sexuality. That means integration here means that his penis is integrated with his gut, with his heart, with his voice, with his soul, like the full alignment. He's able to hold a woman in her complete emotional storm and enable her to complete cycles of trauma and enable her to kind of mind shift into the next version of herself. And so my rising was dependent on meeting a man who was able to mirror my strength in the making. And these are things we don't speak about is about sexuality. It's not just, oh, I'm turned on, let's have sex. It's more, how can I use my sexuality as a space, an intentional space, and there's a million intentions we can have. So the sexual experience can vary. But that was my story, is I really became who I was through this experience. And literally right after this experience, I enrolled into tantric school to become a teacher. I was already a practitioner of tantra for 18 years. Through my own journey of really understanding myself, trying to heal some shame, trying to, just become really the sexual woman that I wanted to be. But once I discovered this, I thought men need to know how much power they have, and women need to also to understand the power of their own sexuality and the space that couples could create to really help each other's growth, individually and together. And that's why I went back to school. I did all of the certifications, all of the work to become a teacher, and chose men. Because if men rise, then women can rise as well. Like we are mirrors of each other.
Interesting. I have a bunch of questions. The first one I want to start with is just baseline for all of our listeners here that may not already know. What is tantric sex?
So maybe we should start with tantra, which is not sex. So tantra, comes from India, and it's a framework, a set of philosophies and tools and techniques and ways of living that help humans achieve self-realization. It then covers everything from the way you exercise your body, the way you eat, the way you think, your morals, and just a whole construct that help people live the best life and self-realize. Tantric sex is just using the tools of Tantra and philosophies of Tantra applied to sexuality. So then sexuality becomes a portal into self-realization. So you're using if we think about our sex, it's really life force. We give birth, right? We give life through sexuality, but we can also use that sexual energy to give birth to other things, to ourselves, to our creative arts, to our work, to whatever it is that we want to create. So by being embodied and really truly understanding and using your sexuality intentionally, you can really allow yourself to self-realize and live your best life.
I've never heard
So
of
this is what
anybody
this
say
is.
this before, really. And I'm in my 40s. And this is just really interesting to me.
Mm,
And I wanted to pause too and appreciate the tie-in. You mentioned about for men in particular, you were talking about the alignment of everything from
mhm,
genitalia to GI tract to what's happening in their head. And then all of that comes up and out in the expression of sex,
mhm.
and sex with a partner. This is my naivete showing. I did not realize Tantra was more than just tantric sex. I think I've heard of tantric sex being a certain type of practice that you can have, but you're saying what you're really teaching people is more than just the tantric sex. Are you also teaching the principles of Tantra?
No, it's included. So
Okay,
it's the way you do sex embodies those values.
I see.
So there are multiple tools. It generally starts with being intentional. So if we were doing drawing analogy, we could discuss the difference between, let's call it conventional sex,
Yeah, let's do that.
tantric sex.
Yeah.
So in conventional sex, generally, it's just driven by impulse,
Mm.
right? Impulse to have sex. It's not, it's while tantric sex is not based on tension and an urge that needs to be released. In fact, the premise is to come, it's a lukewarm, it's done in a state of relaxation, not tension. So already
Oh,
from a nervous
uh-huh.
system, tantric sex is meditative sex, relaxed state, in a state of calmness, not a state of urgency and emergency or tension in your body. And so and to reach that state where you can actually really feel yourself and you can increase sensitivity. It's a very sensitive sex, tantric sex. You're focusing on your five senses. So you awaken consciously your sense of smell, your sense of hearing, taste, your touch. And the practices that you do helps you enliven the body. Really, your nerves become alive and extremely sensitive. And so sensitive that actually you need to, you pace down in
Mm.
order to absorb all those sensations. While in conventional sex, people are generally arriving with so much tension, they're actually numb. The body's numb, it doesn't feel much. So you need to have tons of friction in order to feel something.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time you only feel very little because you're not present into the experience that your body's having. It's very much a fantasy driven, brain driven, goal oriented act. While in tantric sex, there is no goal. Actually, orgasm is not the goal. And I teach men how to become non-ejaculatory orgasmic men. So orgasm and ejaculation are two different things. And very few men know that. Most men think when they're having an orgasm, they're having semen
Mm-hmm.
ejaculation, but the
Right.
orgasm happens before the ejaculation. So men who take the tantric path learn to have 10 different orgasms without any ejaculation in an hour, for instance. So they're getting all of those incredible full body tremors and like bliss without having
Mm-hmm.
lost their ejaculation. So it's totally different. So therefore, if we're not going towards an orgasm, there's no ending. We're going into how do I get more and more present, more and more pleasure, more and more expansion of pleasure, more and more connection, and whatever the intention you set for your sex was. It could be maybe connection and love with your partner, or maybe it is healing trauma, or maybe it is grounding yourself, and you start looking at your penis as almost as a saber of light. So your
Mm-hmm.
penis can be conduit for healing, for strength, for softness, for whatever energy you want to share with your partner. So you're really using sex as energy,
Mm-hmm.
while in conventional sex, this there's not even everything is physical, not
Yeah.
energetic.
Right.
So there's just a lot of different differences like this, and we could go even more.
That's fascinating, especially the intention behind it, the sexual tension side of things, where it's just this tension that's building in the physiologic body and it's a quick release and it's over.
Mhm.
And then the opposite of that being we're not even trying to have this release. We want to hit a state of nervous system. What is the word I'm looking for?
Parasympathetic.
Yeah, yes, where the parasympathetic, the rest and digest is firing
Yes.
and
Mhm.
then approach this act. Or not even an act. It sounds like it's more of this energy exchange. And the meditation tie-in is really fascinating for me when you mentioned
And
that it is
yes,
like a type of meditation almost. Is there specific
exactly.
breathing that goes with
There's
this?
not so many types of breathing you can do. It depends
Okay.
what you're trying to do. But what's really interesting is that, so a lot of the men who come to me, they suffer from premature ejaculation or erectile dysfunction.
Mhm.
And there's different cause for both. And, your issue, health and wellness and all of
Yeah.
this. So,
Yep.
there's definitely a lot going into this. But what's interesting, if we're just talking about the energy of sex, premature ejaculations is basically a state of tension. There's so much tension, it's not controlled, that it needs to be released. What you do, and so therefore your act is short. It could also be a nervous system, a fear of the deep connection. So a lot of them, in order to be a 3-hour long lover, which is
Mhm.
really what I teach,
Yeah.
you need to be, could you look into your partner's eyes for 3 hours? And most men feel seen, and that's the point. When you look into your partner's eyes, it's actually an invitation in. And so right away, if you have secrets, if you have shame, if you have guilt, if you're under a state of tension, if you're actually not present, you're somewhere else, she will see through you. And it's very scary. And so ejaculation is a way to cut contact. And a lot of the time it is not conscious, it's subconscious, but there's the fear of being seen. And a lot of the nervous system say, I'm not good enough, or fear she'll see through me and I'm not the man I'm trying to be. There's a lot of performance and fear, and premature ejaculation plays into this, that fear of deep connection.
Right.
When you are in a state of, when you choose tantric sex, it's actually even more pleasurable than conventional sex. So it's not because it's slower that it's less pleasurable. It's actually more pleasurable because you train your body to be so sensitive that you'll feel 10 times more. But because you're in a state of relaxation, you build the capacity to feel more. In conventional sex, the capacity to feel intensity is so little. Therefore, the act is short and disconnected. In tantric sex, you train your nervous system to be able to feel so much pleasure. And if you're able to feel so much pleasure, you also build the capacity to feel so much pain, so much grief, so much guilt, because
Right. Because those things
all
always
emotions,
work.
exactly, they're the
They're
same.
connected. Yeah.
Exactly. And so that was actually, and it's a sidebar, but going back to that incredible, it was a one night stand too, that life-changing sexual experience. But I was feeling pain because it was the aftermath of my divorce. And I was held safe, that I could feel all the pain, crying. And at the same time, because my pain was the biggest I've ever felt, I also had the greatest orgasm I've ever had in
Right.
my life. And my body was able to do things I didn't even thought was possible to do, because my capacity to feel pain was just as big as opened up my capacity to feel pleasure. And I had a man who was here able to
Hold
be the
space
mountain,
for all of
look
that.
me in the eyes and hold me through this storm, washing over the mountain he was. So that is what I wanted to say.
Was he involved in tantric sex?
Not at all.
No,
And
he
that's what I
was
wanted to say.
just super self-regulated. He had found his own
Yeah.
path to a very similar place.
Somebody who had an incredible emotional depth and emotional EQ, and who also, because of what he's training in other fields, he knew how to hold tension. It's one of those men who could hold tension.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing. And I think it's presence. So the number one thing that you work on when you do tantric sex for men and women is working on presence. And when you're present in your body, that means first you're present to what you feel sensationally, like I'm feeling tingling in my lower belly, I'm feeling warmth in my back, I'm feeling whatever contraction in my genitals, whatever it is you're feeling. And then you're going to start feel more and more and more. And then you start feeling suddenly, you don't know why, out of the blue, you're having a crygasm. You're orgasming and then you're crying because there's an old pain or whatever, an old thing that just comes out. Or you just start just laughing hysterically and you start feeling everything and your body just releases. And it's a beautiful thing because you become attuned.
Yeah.
And the people who choose the tantric sex path, it's kind of like it becomes a daily practice. So you have sex every day. A lot of my clients go, I haven't had sex in 20 years. My wife, how do I do that now?
Yeah.
Or things like that.
Every
and
day,
like, well,
are you crazy, right?
yes,
But it is a
because
practice. It's a practice.
because it's not based on whether I'm turned on or not. It's based on seeking connection. So it's really this. It's almost like every day we're having a communion together,
Right.
a union together.
Yeah.
And because we're not seeking an orgasm, although when you don't think about it, generally when it happens, but you're just connecting and feeling together and being pleasure together and just connecting and taking whatever it is you have. So if you're angry, you still have sex. If you're sad, you still have sex. If you're happy, you have sex. You're turned on and light, great, have more of it. But it doesn't matter. You just come to the table saying, I'm really feeling sad right now, like my mother died, something like that.
Yeah.
And then your partner will say, come here, honey. And then you're just connecting. And there's some practices of breath work you do together, eye gazing you do together, you connect together, and then the body eventually want to merge. And you're moving through that grief of your mother dying during your lovemaking, right? Or I've just lost my job. Man would say, I've lost my job, I feel less than, I'm really scared. Come here, honey. It just will be all right. So it's you come to sex not because you want it, it's happy or it's good, because you're at peace. No, you come together with all of you exactly as you are.
Wow. Yeah, that definitely flies in the opposite direction of what I think a lot of people understand sex to be and how it would work. Oh gosh, I have so many questions for you. So
Some beautiful things.
yeah, this is good stuff. So if premature ejaculation is disconnect from feeling vulnerable and being seen, then erectile dysfunction, what is the real psyche going on behind that?
Yeah. So there are multiple reasons also for PE. We mentioned one, but it's not the only one. Erectile dysfunction. So there's a lot of different reasons. Health issues aside, we're very healthy and all is well. So I want to tell that it isn't normal for a man to be hard on a scale of 0 to 10 at a 9 for hours. So I always tell men, your penis is always right. Meaning, if your penis is soft, don't force it. Like it doesn't want to go up, there's a reason. And what I've noticed is that their brain wants to have sex, but their heart doesn't let that go. Or there's a misalignment between what they think they want and what they really want. So there's that. Is right, really listening. If my penis is always right, what is it telling me when it's going soft or it doesn't come up? Then the other thing is when during lovemaking, a penis is just alive as much as a vagina is alive. So your organ changes shape all the time. It's never the same shape every day, never the same length and girth every day. Same for women. We have different points of sensitivity. Like whether I'm sensitive on this side of my hand or this side of my hand, it's a bit different. But maybe today I feel more here, but tomorrow I won't feel as much here. So it's the same for men and women. It changes all the time. So during lovemaking, your penis is a reflection of the man you are. So if you're feeling really great, top of the world today, your penis, your erection will reflect that. If you're having self-doubt or just something is just occupying your mind or you're worried, your erection will reflect that. If you are present in the act of lovemaking, which in sex for a man means your consciousness is in your penis, it's not in your head wondering, does she like it? Does she like it? Should I move faster, slower? This is not the right way to do it, you will disconnect actually from your penis, and it will just say, okay, now you're not here, I'm done. So presence, you're
Yes.
in your penis, right? So I'm present in my penis. I can feel her. I let my penis do the moves. It's not me forcing my penis. My penis is sentient. It has intelligence and it knows how to move. And so when you start feeling and be present, you're going to feel all of yourself. Same thing. You may have suddenly a bout of pain, a bout of joy, a bout of worry, a bout of whatever, and your erection will show this. So an inconsistent erection doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means you're human and your emotional experience is fluctuating.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing, actually, is that you become aware that you're having an emotional experience that is wavy because your penis is wavy.
Interesting. It's
So it's
practicing
really
present
this.
moments, right? Like you're present.
Correct.
You're teaching these individuals, these penis owners, you're present in your physical body. It's not
Yes.
here that you need to be present. It's
Mhm.
literally in your penis is where you need to be.
Yes, exactly. And what's really
Wow.
interesting, you can feel it. So next time you make love, and this is for the ladies, you'll
Yeah.
notice the difference when your man is in his penis and when he's not, because you can really, and if you're connecting with your own body, if you feel your own
Right.
body, she will notice down. She will
Yeah.
notice he's checked out.
Yeah.
Because when he's checked in, his movement will slow down and he will feel heavier, more rooted inside you.
Mm.
While when he's not here or worried or something, he's going to pick up the pace
Mm.
in order to feel himself.
Interesting. Yeah.
When
That
we're
makes sense.
distracted, we pick up the pace so that we can bring ourselves back to sensation. And also there's a fear when I start feeling my erection waver because I was absent for a moment. I pick up the pace because I feel that brushing will help me regain the erection. So friction to gain erection. And it's interesting, when I was in tantric school, I polled all the ladies that were there, 50 girls, and I asked them, what's one thing you want men to stop doing in the bedroom? And they all said, take responsibility for your erection and stop rushing me to keep it up. So I
Mhm.
was saying, it's like when you suddenly are
Yeah.
afraid you're losing it, you're rushing my experience in order to regain control. Learn how to control yourself without putting pressure onto me. So these are deep things
Yes.
that we're talking about here. But so I invite men when they're feeling suddenly, oops, I'm absent, or I'm feeling my erection lessen, to stop moving and stay in. Because here's what's amazing is that by not moving at all, and try that, most men think, oh, I'm going to lose my erection, I should speed up to keep it. But actually, the reverse will happen. If you stop moving and you really feel yourself in, and you really feel yourself, you amplify the positive energy, positive charge of your penis. The vagina is a negatively charged. It's almost like a battery. So a vagina is negatively charged, a penis is positively charged. And then a woman's heart is positively charged. She penetrates with her emotional heart. Men are negatively charged. They receive that heart
Interesting.
energy.
Yeah.
While men penetrate with their penis. So they're the positive pole. When you stop moving and you really breathe into your penis, breathe into your testicle, I teach genital breathing, you'll start feeling you activate the positive charge, and your vagina will actually, polarity will start pulling you. And you'll start feeling that you'll get an spontaneous erection just from not moving. And it's a
Wow.
fantastic feeling as a woman receiving a
Yeah.
penis, to feel you come back to life
Mhm.
in me. And so, and what's fascinating when you do this, you'll start actually having very different sensations. You start moving very differently, not like a jackhammer, but more like a
Yeah.
slithering, right? You'll start feeling just shifting your hips and just trying to activate that electric
Mhm.
field between the two.
Wow.
So trust your body. And that's what I say. So when erectile dysfunction, it's never a dysfunction. It's a self-expression of your emotional state and your state of presence. This is what I've learned,
Yeah.
practiced, and observed.
Thank you. There's so much good stuff there, guys. So somewhere along your own path, you made a conscious choice to work with penis owners. And what about vagina owners? Like where,
Yes.
what
So,
swayed you
yes.
one way or the other?
Yes. So I actually went all the way to be completely trained and certified to work with women, and I do, and I have. So I work with vagina owners. I worked with women who had sexual trauma and no longer can have sex or have a lot of painful sex or who are just not able to orgasm. And I want to say every woman can have cervical, A-spot, G-spot orgasm. You can have a throat gasm. You can have ejaculatory orgasm. Every woman is able to do that. Women don't really know their anatomy that well.
Hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
not the books, I'm sorry to say, aren't really current about it
Yeah.
because patriarchy has written our books. So,
Yes. I was going to say, I feel like that's not an accident, Emma, and I completely agree with you.
yes. And the best way to know is you don't need a book, you need yourself. But it's the same for women. It's just knowing your anatomy, slowing it down, breathing, and doing the work. Women need to have develop a new relationship to their sexual story. Men as well, but women very much so. Because for majority of women, and I was raised Catholic, so it's my pleasure is not mine. It's and my body's not really mine. It's for my husband, or it's to make children. And so when you get to tantric sex, it's not procreation, which takes 2 minutes. I mean, men, you only need to be performant 2 minutes and we have a baby. So
Yeah.
learning how to make love for 45 minutes, which is the minimum time for one cervical orgasm.
Mhm.
Anytime before a woman who cannot orgasm vaginally, I hate people who promote and say not every woman can, or no, some women it's all through the clitoris, or you need granite orgasm. It's not that. It's that we haven't given enough time.
Interesting.
If you look at Taoism, which is also what I've been trained on, Tantra and Taoism, two different parallel philosophies around sex. One is from China, and then one is from India. They talk about 1,000 stroke, so 1,000 penetration, right? So you need to basically be having thrusting for 1,000 times, which takes about 45 minutes or an hour in order to get there, because then the blood flow is there, everything is there. So if you cannot, it's because you haven't been able to. And so women need to learn, and I teach men masturbation. We can talk about that actually.
I'm so curious.
Yes, but you need, my ladies, to give yourself 45 minutes to an hour of massage and think about sex as massage. So if you're using a dildo, if you're using a penis or your fingers, it's about massaging your vagina. And I always tell men, your role is to massage her open and massage yourself open. Right? So it's by just really having this contact with the skin that you will be able to open the floodgates. And so for women, they need to relearn their body, have a new sexual story, the ones that they want to have. So you need to be intentional about what kind of sexual story you want to create for yourself. And then they need to often de-armor their vagina. That's a practice also in Tantra, where you remove the tightness on the spots and a numbness in your vagina, where too much forced sex happened. We always say yes, but really sometimes we say no, we won't know, but we say yes. So after a while, our vagina stop listening and numbs out. So we lose our sensitivity because there too, we haven't listened to her. And so it's not safe, and she doesn't express anymore. If she doesn't express, she becomes numb, and she doesn't express pleasure either. So recreating a new relationship with the body, that's what I do with women, and teach them how to massage themselves, how to take the time, how to relax. And that's really the key. And I worked with a woman who had brain cancer, and she was able to orgasm before, and then she couldn't after, because as you know, being in the body, there are nerve endings. Orgasm and the brain's very important. And within 3 months of practicing, she was able to create new neural pathways and reclaim orgasm. So
that
it's
must
really
have been
important.
life-changing for her.
Yes.
I mean,
it's actually her husband who hired me to work with her. I'm like, is she okay with this? Yes, she was really okay, fine. So, and when we do this together, she'll have practices, but I want to make sure you're not pushing or pressuring her, because that I'm not taking part of this.
Yes. Before she needs to be fully consenting to this agreement.
Yes, unless she wants this, because at the end, it's not for you. I told her husband, it's for her.
Yeah.
So if she wants to reclaim that for herself, I'll help. If it's you because you want to have her going back to you, I'm not part of this.
I'm so glad to hear that. As a woman,
Yes.
I'm glad to hear that. And so she did it and she got it back. It came back to
Yeah,
her.
she got it back. And then she was
Wow.
still under chemotherapy and she was still undergoing things. And, it takes her
Oh,
longer, of
yeah.
course, but
Right. It takes a
it's,
long time for nerve endings to come back. And sometimes they don't ever. But I
they may
imagine,
not take that pathway. So that's what I
right.
learned for her, for instance. Again, it is the only one I've worked who had that case. But
Yeah.
for her, it was not the old way. So the old strokes were not really working as well. She basically had to rewire her body a bit differently.
Yeah.
And then one of the things that I taught her, and she didn't know that because again, she's in a very religious culture where women can touch themselves, men cannot. But that's like it's very regulated how you have sex. So I was lucky that she was able to do some things to train herself. But one of the things that she didn't know, because it's not a very widely open sexual culture, she didn't know that, and maybe you don't know, women listening here, that your breast is actually what opens up your vagina. So the woman's
Oh.
what enables a vagina to be soft and plush and warm and wet is the approach from the outside in. That's the yin approach. So you have an environment that feels great, meaning you have no argument and resolve with your husband from the morning prior. And then, you have a soul connection, your intellect has been warmed up. And then there's the heart is open. And then eventually the vagina is the legs open up, right? Men, it's the reverse. It's their penis is the entry point. And then through lovemaking, their heart blossoms. And then the soul connection blossoms. And then everything else is amazing in their household and in work, right?
And
So
that
that's the
tracks
young approach.
100%.
That tracks.
Yeah.
So when a woman, sidebar, when a woman says no to sex to a man, that's really important. He's understanding you don't love me, because a lot of the men who ask for sex actually ask for love and tenderness, but they don't know how to ask it otherwise than through sex, because any other way isn't really man enough in our culture. Right. So sidebar. But going back to women, so when you massage your breast, and I'm talking about a real breast massage, and I can on a different show you how to do that.
Yes.
But right away, you'll start feeling your water running. And you don't even need anyone to do anything with your clitoris. You're ready for penetration.
Right.
So she really worked on her breast massage really well. And she was so turned on by her breast massage. She turned herself on. She didn't need a man to do it for her. She felt so sensual, so ready, like the queen,
Yeah.
And that's how she would go to sex with him. And so that's really what I teach women, is to take ownership for their turn on. Throughout the day, actually, you should always be under low flame, because it powers everything in your life anyway. You can create your life with your vagina.
I love that.
So that's the secret.
That's
for
so
women.
interesting, right? So it's like having that, I don't want to use the word sexual tension, because that's what you're moving away from by practicing tantric sex, but it's kind of a low key turn on the whole day.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm obviously not.
I call it aliveness.
There you go. Yes. Just enjoying life and your body. And I'm looking at all of the things I wanted to ask you. Let's jump to, what is sex magic? You had that as a prompt, and I was like, yes, I would like to know, Emma, what is sex magic?
Sex magic. It sounds so crazy. And so I heard that. I was like, what is that? That sounds too woo-woo for me. I'm like a very cerebral, and I'm, like I used to be a management consultant for one of the top 3
Me
companies.
too.
Like I'm like, I don't do full stuff. And now I'm a tantric and go figure. So what sex magic is using your sexuality in order to manifest what you want in life. So let me just explain, because that sounds crazy. But if it's using either your self-pleasure if you're single, or your sexuality to activate your sacral chakra. So all of that juiciness that you have in your roots and your sacral chakra. And then as you learn how to move sexual energy. So sexual energy feels like, let's say, pleasure. When you feel a lot of pleasure, in your lower regions, you can, with your breath, your intention, you can start moving it and take that same intense pleasure somewhere else in your body. Sex magic is moving the sexual energy and transmuting it as it goes up through the chakras in your body. So you bring it to your solar plexus, you're going to bring it to your heart, and you're going to feel that orgasm, like in all of those places. You're going to bring it into your throat, you're going to bring it to your third eye and into your crown. And as you do this, you are carrying your intention. So if your intention is to make $1 million this year, let's say, right? I would like that my sex magic manifest wealth and financial abundance. So you're basically making love to this. So you're starting with beforehand as a meditation, really seeing what it feels like in your nervous system to be abundant like this. And I'm creating an audio on that topic actually to guide people through this.
Wow.
But so what does it feel like? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? So you turn on all your 5 senses to being that millionaire. And then you start making love. And as you make love and move that energy up, you're staying very present in your intention and in your nervous system. You're marrying pleasure with being wealthy, and you're sending this energy up to your crown and into the universe. You have to wait to orgasm at the end. You can't just midway, but you're building that pleasure and an orgasm, and you're sending it out in the universe. And what it does is that a lot of the time, and that's the secret of manifestation, the reason why people don't get what they most want is that some part of them is afraid of getting what they want. So if you have a poor money mindset, it's really hard to be comfortable being wealthy. And so sex is so pleasurable that you can rewire your nervous system and make the experience of being filthy wealthy feel really good.
Yeah.
And so therefore, you will take action towards that goal without putting obstacle in your way because you're afraid in your nervous system to be that rich because you think whatever rich people are thieves.
Yeah.
That's one of the things.
Whatever
Rich people
you
are
have in
thieves.
your
Like
head.
exactly. But if it starts to feel really good in your nervous system, and you can really see the magic and the gift of being abundant and how it will serve you and serve others. Tantric sex is always, you do things, and that's the philosophy of Tantra. You do things for the good of all. So for me, everything I do is alignment with love and the good of all beings.
Yeah.
So that goal that I set is for the good of me and the good of all beings. So how can I do bad? And so through having sex over and over and over through that goal, you will manifest that. And then if you can even, to make it even more real, put, I don't know, $1,001 bill on your bed and have sex on your dollars.
Oh,
It's even more
Yeah.
crazy, right?
Yeah.
So you can really set up that whole experience, and then you're gonna just take every risky action you need to take in order to get that. Does that make sense?
Yes. What I'm hearing
You can
is
use
almost
sex magic for love.
it's
You could,
embodiment,
or whatever.
right?
It's embodiment,
It's setting
exactly.
an intention, and it's taking your physical, spiritual, and psychological space to the very core of your essence. All of the walls, right, should be down. Even if you're someone that's really good at hiding and compartmentalizing, most of the walls are down. Maybe not all of them. Maybe you need to do some work before you can truly enjoy the type of sex that you've been describing and that experience. But in that moment, you're the closest to your true essence that you're ever going to be. So if you can embody your intention in that space, there could be no more powerful an expression of it, I think. That tracks. That makes perfect sense to me. One thing I've been dying to ask this whole time, do you ever do work with same-sex couples? Do you work with people that identify as something other than their biological body? How does it track for the non-stereotypical couple? And, because they would deserve to know and experience all of this too, right?
Yep. Yeah, and I feel very strongly about this. Like
good. I'm so glad I asked. Okay.
I'm so glad you asked.
Yeah.
I really believe that gender is fabricated. So yeah. Because I haven't coached in this field.
Yeah.
Transgender. I have transgender friends.
Yeah.
And I have transgender clients in the personal training area who actually needed me to help them train them as they were transitioning from man to woman, for instance, or others. So, and I'm very present in the gay community in New York City. So I'm very aware. I haven't coached yet this clientele because I think that some people who do be better than me and specialized it in these questions out of school. So I would recommend. I have taken the difficult task, though, to work with straight men, knowing what I know about gay men, about genders, and really gently opening and getting a lot of resistance sometimes, and challenging their view of masculinity. Challenging their views of masculinity. And because straight men are very prisoner and oppressed by their view of masculinity, which is unrealistic because it's a model, it's not real. And so when we start looking at transgenders in a tantric sex area, basically it's really unsteady for them because their understanding of what makes them a man is shattered. And so it's really coming back. And that's what Tantra is. It's about self-realization, is don't look out. What being a man means to you? And what does it mean in terms of fatherhood, in terms of being a lover, in terms of all of this? And also it's interesting because in Tantra, all sexual practices are welcome. So there's anal sex is actually something that's incredibly powerful and actually very powerful for men because it requires a complete surrender. It really, all of your tension in your body will melt. But there is such stigma around this sexual practice amongst straight men. And yet, almost 100% of the men that I work with, straight men, desire that experience, just don't know how to ask for it to their female partner because they're afraid they will be looked at gay. So all I wanted to say is, any man who comes with questions or with curiosity around their sexuality, their experience of manhood or womanhood, there is no dogma in Tantra. It's always back to what is your experience, what is your body telling you, and creating an environment, holding space for each individual to experience themselves without any preconceived notion. Pleasure is pleasure, and the more present you are in your body's experience, the more your body will tell you what it feels being a man is or being a woman is for you. And that's this, actually. And then when you look at the tantric text, there is actually a whole, the practices, because man, woman, that's not this feminine, masculine energy that we're talking about. And so you can have two men together, two women together, and you still can have this exchange of masculine and feminine energy between two men or two women. So the practice track, same for Taoism. So it's not about gender.
Thank you so much for sharing that. The most empowering statements like that you've just made. That is so helpful to hear. I know that you teach some classes at the brick and mortar, but what is Tantric Awakenings, your personal services that you offer, like your consultation services? Is that what that company
It's an
does?
online, So Tantric Awakenings is the company. And then I created a school. It's a virtual school. It's a 1-year program that follows men's season of their sexuality. So their spring, summer, fall, and winter, and things to explore in these different seasons of their arousal and in their manhood, if you'd like. And I do, and this is all online, and people that are all around the world, like coming from Middle East, Australia, Africa, Europe, here. It's fascinating because they all have different culture, so very different views of sexuality also. So it's April to April, the school year. So we're about ending the school year now. But in New York, I rent some space where I teach workshops. And generally there, so the NSFW, the New York Society for Wellness, is a sexual society. It's a sex club. It's not really a club, it's a society, and they have a venue and where it's a space where people can explore their sexuality. It's also a space where people don't really know their where they go on the sexual orientations. They can explore and speak to other people. The transgender community is represented and not harassed. Yeah. So everybody's really welcome to explore. And I really like this place because when I do my workshop, there are tantric sex for couples that teach penis massage, tantric penis massage, tantric PC massage, and it's actually between couples, an hour each. So a man would give an hour massage to the woman and then vice versa. And it's beautiful. It's a de-armoring practice. I teach eye gazing. I teach speed dating without talking. So it's just eye gazing. And the goal is to really feel somebody else's energy and how you feel looking into their eyes. Do I feel attracted or do I feel like not my body? And rather than having to speak up about who you are and selling yourself, like a car salesman, why don't you just spend a moment feeling this person's aura, and then you'll know a lot of what you want to know, and then later on you can talk. So I teach different things like this, but it's not my space. I dream of having my own house in New York for the Tantric Awakenings home, but right now it's primarily virtual.
You can do one of your tantric manifestation. Thanks for that.
I have actually.
Oh, you have? Okay.
I have the plan. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love it so much.
Hopefully it's just a year away. But yes.
That would be amazing.
And then I created audios called Sound Self-Discovery Meditation.
Okay.
So it's a tantric 60-minute experience where they learn how to breathe and they learn how to work with their sexual energy and their emotions and integrate their sexuality in their body.
Where would somebody go that they want to discover more about you and your teachings and your offerings? Where would you like to direct listeners to go? And I'll include all of that in the show notes as well.
Instagram, Tantric Awakenings. I'm very present there.
Okay.
And then just my website. I have a blog where I write a lot of those conversations we're having are pretty surprising to people. So my blog and my newsletter.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Emma. I will be sure to include all of that. And I knew we would have so much. I had so many more questions I wanted to ask you. In closing, this second season that I'm doing of the podcast is all about the choices that we make to elevate our experiences in the present lifetime. So if you were to choose one takeaway from our discussion that you would recommend to listeners, this is the key point that I want you to know, what would it be and why?
That your pleasure is for you and that your body has all the answers for you to self-realize in this lifetime. You just need to come home to your body, and your pleasure, your sexuality can actually be this portal for you to get everything you want in life and create your own safety and your own livelihood.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Emma. It has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today. I will definitely follow up with you in the future. I want to hear about what's happening with your business and the classes that you're offering. And I feel like we could do a whole deep dive into the vagina owner's perspective of how this plays in. And
you say penis owners and vagina owners. When you said that at the beginning, I knew we would get along.
Yay.
I say men and women because it's easier.
Yeah.
But those practices are really genital specific. So
right.
I like that you name it out.
Yeah.
And now I understand.
Well, now, and I've learned you can be a vagina owner, but maybe you identify more with the masculine energy, and you can be a penis owner and identify with feminine energy. And we have those among us that have this beautiful ability just to be gender fluid in how they express themselves. And I see that as a very unique gift.
May I actually share one way? Because I still see with my clients, sometimes they have those who resist the concept. I found a way to explain it that makes more sense for people who still don't understand. It's gender versus your sex. So if you're closing your eyes and you're opening your eyes for the first time and you haven't seen what you look like, you don't know your body yet. When you open your eyes, do you instantly feel yourself as a man or as a woman? That's it. That is your gender. If I wake up and I feel like I'm man, that's my gender. Then I can look down at, I have a vagina. Okay?
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's my biology. That's my sex.
Yeah.
And I know it might be inconvenient, but this is the difference. So if I wake up and I'm a woman and I have a vagina, well, it will be easier for me in our current society. Or if
Yeah.
I wake up as a man and I have a penis, but it is not. It's not the way. These are two different things. So
Yes.
when you comprehend it like this, it's easier to understand than what a gender is versus our sex.
Thank you for sharing that, especially as the mother of a trans son. He's now a young adult. That was something that he taught me that I'm really eternally grateful for. So thank you for your time. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. I wish
Thank
you
you
a
so much,
very
Vanessa.
blessed and beautiful day. And I will talk to you
Thank
soon, I'm
you.
sure.
I wish you the same, Vanessa.
In closing, I want to offer a reminder that your voice matters, and I would love to connect with you. If you feel called to contribute to this community, please reach out. You can email topic ideas, suggestions for interviews, and feedback to Vanessa at squatsandseances.com. That's Vanessa with an E, VENESSA, at Squats and Seances, all spelt out, one word in its entirety. You can find new episodes of Squats and Seances on all major podcast platforms and the adjacent vlogcast on my YouTube channel. I'll link the YouTube channel in the reference notes for you. Find and follow me on social media at Squats and Seances. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until the next time, may you continue to live well, embrace authenticity, question everything, and of course, stay gritty.